What is ambient occlusion for digital art from shadows? Have you ever noticed how shadows can make or break the realism in digital art? Today, we are going to talk about a technique called ambient occlusion and how it relates to form shadows in digital painting. This technique is essential for creating depth and realism in your artwork. Ambient occlusion is a shading method that simulates the soft shadows found in areas where objects are close together. Think about corners or creases where light struggles to reach. These areas become darker because ambient light, which is the indirect light in a scene, is partially blocked. This creates a more realistic shadow effect that enhances the overall look of your artwork. In digital art, ambient occlusion helps to define and separate forms. It adds depth to shadows that direct lighting alone cannot achieve. Unlike sharp shadows that come from a specific light source, ambient occlusion produces soft, diffuse shadows. This effect gives the viewer a better sense of volume and space in your composition. So how does it work? Ambient occlusion estimates how much ambient light reaches each point on a surface. Areas that are more enclosed or surrounded by other objects receive less light, making them appear darker. Artists can calculate this effect by tracing rays from each point on a surface to see how many are blocked by nearby surfaces. The result is a shadowing effect that relies on the arrangement of objects rather than direct light. For digital artists, especially those focused on advanced painting techniques, ambient occlusion is a helpful tool for rendering from shadows. These shadows reveal the three-dimensional shape of objects, making them look more convincing. By using ambient occlusion, artists can create naturalistic shading that highlights the subtle play of light and shadow. There are several practical ways to apply ambient occlusion in digital art. One method is to use it as a baked texture or map. Artists can paint this onto models or two-dimensional surfaces to simulate realistic shadowing in tight spaces. Another way is to add it as a layer in digital painting software. This allows artists to manually enhance shadow details where ambient light would be blocked. In addition, ambient occlusion works well alongside direct lighting and other shading techniques. It prevents scenes from looking flat by adding soft shadow gradients that define form and space. To sum it up, ambient occlusion in digital art represents the soft, indirect shadows created by the occlusion of ambient light in tight areas. This technique is vital for crafting realistic from shadows and boosting the depth and volume in illustrations and digital paintings. By mastering ambient occlusion, you can take your digital art to the next level.